Welcome back to Blue Jacket Banner. I'm your host, Maggie Bell from the Perry High FFA chapter, and today we have a special guest, and I'll let him introduce himself.
All right, so my name is Jose Gomez, and I'm from the Ware County High FFA chapter.
So you might notice things look a little different than normal. That is because I'm the person interviewing, and Jose is actually the person being interviewed today.
Yep.
You want to tell them how that idea came about?
Yep. So we were kind of talking about this at national convention is when we first brought up the idea, and then we didn't really talk about it until really didn't talk much about it until April.
Yeah.
And that's when we really decided on we need to do this.
Yes.
So we're doing a takeover episode today with Miss Maggie Bell, and we're excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess I'll start by asking an icebreaker question. So will you spin that wheel for me?
Yes, I will.
Number five. Okay. If you could have dinner with any person, dead or alive, who would it be?
Any dinner with any person, that's tough. That's a tough question. Any dinner with one person, dead or alive. Probably say, it might sound funny, but George Washington.
Ooh,
Yep.
that'd be a good one.
It's kind of like stereotypical, I guess.
Yeah, but like
Kind of seeing where his ag background came from, like his personal experiences on his farm, and just kind of knowing how our whole country kind of began to.
yeah, I like that.
Become.
That'd be a good dinner.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Now, tell me about how you started out in FFA, and at what moment made you know that you have a deep passion for FFA?
So the moment that I decided to join FFA was in middle school, my sixth grade year. We have middle school ag here in Ware County, and I joined my sixth grade year. My sister's done it for the longest time, so I guess I just wanted to follow in that footstep, and always that sibling rivalry of trying to be better than your sibling, trying to one-up them and everything that they did. That just really made me join because of my sister. She's inspired me to join FFA, and it's just been such a great thing that I've been able to join with. Her influenced me to join it, all the CDEs and LDEs that I've been able to do. And a moment that I decided to have a deep passion for it, I'd say was when I decided to run for area office.
Yeah.
Seeing all these people, it was a step up from a chapter leadership level, chapter officer position, and just kind of seeing those people run the region and the area and it was just such a defining moment that I seen, like, I want to be that person next. Like, how do I be that person?
How do I get there? Yeah.
Yep. So I talked to a bunch of my friends and that were area officers back then, and then my friend Colleen, she was an area officer that year, and she was retiring, and she said, well, you need to run next year. So I did, and then I ran, and then I did not think I was going to get it, but then I ended up getting it. And that was just such a moment that I had a passion for it. Like, seeing where I came from, just being a middle schooler to being a ninth grader on that officer team and serving as an Area 6 officer, just knowing that kind of where, like, I came from and seeing what I could do and, like, what I've achieved. Definitely that sparked a passion, just being able to do all these different things within FFA, not only in my chapter, but in the South region as well.
Yeah, that's really cool. I started out in sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
No, in seventh grade, actually.
Yeah.
I was very nervous. A middle schooler, I was very nervous middle schooler, and I knew I needed to jump in and do something like an extracurricular. So I didn't think much about it when I joined FFA. But then Mr. Bennett at Mossy Creek Middle, that's where I went to middle school, he put me on the conduct of chapters team, and I just stuck with it, and that kind of started my passion for it. And so at the end of my 8th grade year 2, he handed me the area officer slip, and he said, you're doing this. And so I was like, okay. And I didn't think I was going to make it either. And then I made the Area 3 team as a junior representative. And then that kind of also started a deep passion for FFA because I got to serve not only my chapter, but I got to see that FFA impacts people even outside my chapter. And it's so loved by a lot of people around the state.
Yep. Kind of agreeing with what you said. I was very nervous going into middle school, and kind of like you said, I needed to jump into something to meet new people, and jumping into that definitely led me to meet a lot of new people like you. So
yeah, like you. Okay. So, You also said that you show sheep, and you're the first in your county to show sheep. What's one of the biggest lessons you have learned from the industry?
So, yeah, like you mentioned, I'm the first one in my county to show sheep. Over 40 years, the last person was my middle school ag teacher, and then now it's me. But definitely, it's been the biggest lesson I've learned was definitely patience and knowing. I don't know how to explain this, but patience and like a learning opportunity, if that makes sense. Because she showed for 1 year, so we kind of started off with like knowing nothing, and definitely taught me patience. Because I started off showing pigs, and I loved it. And then I showed pigs in 8th grade, and then in 9th grade I took a little break from showing livestock to start getting focusing a little bit more on school. And after 9th grade, I was like, I kind of want to show livestock again. And I was talking with my ag teacher, and I was like, but I kind of want to try something new. And I was like, I don't want to show pig. He's like, do you want to show cattle? And I was like, well, I don't want to show something too big as cattle. And then we kind of decided on showing sheep. And then he's like, Mr. Hickox told me, he said, Jose, I'll be honest with you. I don't know nothing about sheep, so it's going to be a learning curve for both of us. And it was just such a fun learning experience, trying something new. It's a lot more high maintenance, I'd say, and I love it. And just being able to spend more time with the animals and just seeing all the different things that I've learned, like from knowing nothing to 2 years ago, and like now knowing everything that I do about them. I still don't know everything about the sheep or the ovine industry. But it's like meeting new people along the way, whether it was at livestock shows, FFA events that have helped me out with that. Miss Amy in Tift County, she's helped me a lot with it. And she's just helped me a lot through it. Those people that I've met, making sure that I know what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm definitely say those are the lessons I've learned from it. Just being patient and having a fun new learning opportunity.
Yeah, I get that. I know. I showed pigs my sophomore year for one winter season, and showing pigs, like, I loved it for that season, but it just wasn't my thing, and I knew that going in. I was like, showing is not for me personally, but the thing about it is I love going to livestock shows. Last year I helped out with our local show. So, like, I like being around the industry. Just showing isn't for me, but, like, seeing the passion everybody has for the animals and the industry in itself is really cool to be about. And just learning about it firsthand is also a really cool thing I love about it. So, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. How did the idea of Blue Jacket Banner form?
So, that's a great question. So, the idea formed last year at our chapter cult conference. So, we were at Camp John Hope, and we were doing our own cult conference there. Or we do like our own cult. We don't do the statewide one.
Yes.
And we were at Camp John Hope in our meeting room, and we were filling out our POA, our program of activities, and there was a section on there over like communication or outreach and something like that. And then we've talked about doing a podcast for a long time, like over the past 2-3 years, but I mean nobody's ever really gotten to it. And then they brought it up again, and then our ag teacher said, well, who's gonna do it, who's gonna make sure we're posting stuff, who's gonna make sure we're taking care of stuff. And like nobody was really like pushing themselves out there, and I was like, well, I guess I could do it. But that's kind of how it started. And then I thought it was just gonna be like a small little hobby, I guess, but it turned into a really big passion that I have for the ag comm industry, and just being able to talk. I mean, I love to talk, so I mean, I kind of find it's a little perfect for me. But that's just kind of where it started at our cult conference. They brought it up, and I mean, it just kind of fell on me because nobody really else was doing it. So I was like, I guess I'll do it.
No fair.
But yep. Ever since then, meeting all these new people that have been on, all these people that have been on the podcast, it's just been such an amazing learning moment again, just learning more about people across the state. We're getting North Region on soon, I promise. but learning about so many different people across the state and how FFA is different from my chapter to their chapter, the differences that we do and some competitions. But, yep,
Yeah.
really, really glad I started this.
As somebody who definitely wants to go into agricultural communications, I totally get it.
Yep.
And it's taken you far, so it's a really good podcast.
Yep.
What would you say your favorite FFA event is?
Favorite FFA event? So not CDEs or LDs, just
Not
like
CDs or
okay.
LDs, like conferences, camps, conventions.
That's tough because I love all of them. My favorite FFA event, it would be between South Region Rally and National Convention. So I'll start off with South Region Rally. So I went to South Region Rally my 8th grade year. I went my 6th grade and 8th grade year, and then 7th was COVID, so that was a little different. But I went there and just seeing like all the new people that kind of have the same interests. Like back then, I just thought, like being a 6th grader at Region Rally, I just thought it was like, oh, it's just like a fun day to have here. Like, but like being a 6th grader, seeing like all those people there that kind of have the same mindset, I guess. It was just, I really love that event. Being there, being able to have fun with people that kind of share the same passion as you, and meeting people across the region. Because I know each region rally is different for each region. For ours, both Area 5 and Area 6 are together on one day, and we're all together doing the same activities throughout the day. And I really enjoyed it being there as a 6th and 8th grader, just being able to have fun with people and doing the mock competitions that we have there, and meeting people from the forestry industry there, talking about everything that they do. It's just such a cool opportunity. And also being on the area side, the area officer side of it one year was like a totally different ballpark. Like you're putting on those activities and you're making sure everybody's having fun. And we do leadership. We do some leadership activities or initiatives with some of the members. But my year, we didn't get to do the leadership initiatives. We got to do Ag Olympics. Ooh. So that was really, really fun. And we got to do that, just seeing everybody having fun, and on the area officer side, like being able to facilitate all those things. And like going into it, I didn't know all the hard work that was put into it, but like being on the area officer side, like it's very rewarding what you did, like knowing that you put this rally on and like the impact you had on all those people in your region. But enough about that. Talking about national convention now. I love me a good national convention.
Oh, me too.
Yep.
Me too.
I've been to national convention the past 3 years. I went my 9th and 10th grade year just with my chapter to go. And it was really fun just being able to see like the big picture of it. Like I thought our state convention was big. I got there and it was like 10 times bigger. But just being able to be there, it was truly amazing seeing all the people there and all the people go on stage, and it was just crazy. Like all the sea of blue jackets there is absolutely crazy. The wait time for the restaurants is definitely long.
We're out the door, like.
Yeah, out the door. But being there, I just love meeting new people and seeing how different we are from different states. Because, I mean, to me, it's kind of weird seeing a jacket that doesn't say Georgia on it.
No.
Like, because, I mean, we're just so used to that. And then going there, it's all different, seeing all the different jackets, where they're from, their different chapter names. And then this past year, we went as delegates, and that was really, really fun. And then there, you really got to see the differences between the states, with talking to some of their state officers or people that were delegates from that state. Like, I met a guy from California. He was a past state officer, and he lives in the county that produces the most dairy products in the United States, and his family have their own dairy farm, and they make ice cream and all this stuff. And just being able to see how we're different from each state. Like, not every state grows pecans, and not I mean, we're known as the peach state, but we don't grow the most peaches. But just seeing like the different things between states and meeting all those new people and just again kind of being on the delegate side of it this past year, knowing that like you're voting on stuff that can like change,
Impact,
like
yeah.
impact the organization for good, which is a really cool opportunity. So y'all should take that into consideration to apply being a delegate. Um, but yeah, that's been such a fun moment meeting all those new people and like knowing that you can make an impact with like the vote that you make or the ideas that you give up, that not give up, but the ideas you give.
No, yeah. Because we were on the 100th anniversary, so we helped plan the 100th anniversary of National FFA. And so, you know, that's not till 2028, but we planned it in 2024. And so we had like a 4-year gap, and we just kind of think it all through. And like the ideas that some people had, the ideas that we brought to the table, it was so surreal, like talking about them in our small group and then them being voted on with all the 475 delegates from around the nation. That was really cool to experience. And then going back to South Region Rally, Central Region Rally is one of my favorite events too. I've only ever seen it from the area officer perspective because my first time going was as an area officer in 9th grade. And we kind of, as area officers, we lead games, like our leadership games. And then this year, I'm not an area officer anymore, so I'll get to experience it with my chapter for the first time as a senior, and I'm kind of excited to see how that is. But yes, Central Region Rally and National FFA are some of the 2 most great events that FFA has to offer.
Yep, definitely great.
Okay. Who inspires you the most? Like, if you had to nail it down, like, I know there's more than one person, but if you had to pick one person, like, just to highlight right now, who would it be?
Person that inspired me the most, I'd say would definitely have to be my older sister, Monica.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. Like her interest in making sure that I join FFA and just seeing her do all the things that she's done in the organization. She served as a chapter officer. She was our chapter president, and just seeing all the great things that she's done. And she competed in Ag Ed, and I remember I was in 9th grade, and she was a senior while I was in 9th grade, and she came to my basic Ag class to teach her Ag Ed competition because they have to teach like a 15-minute window. And just seeing her teach us, like knowing that her passion was Ag Ed, and seeing her fulfill that, just seeing all the things that she's done has definitely inspired me. Kind of going back to what I said, that sibling rivalry to always be better. That's inspired me as well. But definitely, she's my biggest support system. I'd say that. She's helped me with everything, with competitions, to just applying for different positions and applying for different things. She's definitely helped me along the way with stuff, helped me practice with interviews for stuff and all those good things. But definitely, she's inspired me the most with all the things that she's done in her FFA career and everything that she's helped me with. And seeing her go on stage at state convention for Ag Ed, she got 2nd place her first year that she did it. And the difference between her and first place, they were 1 point apart.
Oh, I know that
So
stuck with her.
That stuck with her the most. And then her 2nd year, she ended up getting 3rd at state. And then the difference between them, they were again like 2 points difference from each other. So just seeing her like not stop working hard, like every single night, like she'll be working on her Ag Ed stuff. And it was just such an inspiring moment, seeing how hardworking she is and how she inspires the other people around her.
Yeah, I love that. My sister, she's not an FFA. She's more of the sports one. She does a lot of sports. She plays actually tennis, but she's younger than me. And although she's not an FFA, she's very driven. And so seeing her drive, it like also motivates me to keep doing what I love to do and get better at it. So yeah, my sister is also a big support system. And you said that your sister wants to become an ag teacher, but you have also said before that you want to become an ag teacher. So is she the one who kind of sparked that interest, or did you have something else that made you know that you wanted to be an ag teacher?
So kind of starting off with that, at first I really didn't know what I wanted to do, which I mean that's common for a lot of people. But yeah, I would say she kind of sparked that interest. And also, my ag teachers that I had my 9th grade year, we had Mr. Hickox, Mr. Bennett, Miss Chisholm, and Mr. Chisholm. And I'd say that my sister and Miss Chisholm definitely kind of impacted me to want to pursue a career in ag ed after high school. Definitely seen like the way that they impacted students, whether it was my sister just teaching a basic ag class with their ag ed CDE, or Miss Chisholm, I had her for my basic ag ed for plant science and horticulture. Just the impact that she had on me, and she left our school last year, and she's working like at some big nursery place, and it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
But the impact she had, it was definitely definitely defining. She was one of the ones that kind of inspired me to run for area office and helped me throughout that whole process. And she's definitely been one of them. And just kind of, they were kind of that spark of like, I want to be that teacher that leaves an impact on a student. And that's definitely what started that spark. And I've been wanting to major in ag ed and then maybe getting a minor in ag comm.
Yeah.
Just because I love it so much, and just kind of see where that goes. Because, I mean, you kind of get a little bit of everything with ag ed.
Yeah.
Like, you get all sides of ag.
Yeah.
Yep. You get students, you get inside, you get in your classroom, you get to see students' SAE projects, and the FFA side. Being an advisor, just kind of a big thing that I want to achieve. But yeah, I definitely say both of them sparked that interest along with my other ag teachers.
Yeah.
They were such a good example, and just kind of wanted to follow in their footsteps as well. Really say they inspired me or started that spark.
I love that. I know Perry, we have 3 great ag teachers. We have Mr. Lineberger, Mr. Deagle, and then Miss Denton. And going into 9th grade, I also came from Mossy Creek, we had an incredible advisor, Mr. Bennett. And so, like, I thought I wanted to do ag ed, and I love ag ed, and I love all that has to offer. And ag advisors, I respect them so much because, you know, they put their life, this is what they do for their life. It's not a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7 job.
Like, the job goes home with them.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. And so just seeing their deep-rooted passion for it, that's something that sticks with me. And although I don't want to go into ag ed, I want to go into ag communications. But I would like still carry that passion. Like, I still have that passion for ag. I just would rather like do it through like the communications fields, like journalism or news reporting. So yeah.
Yep, really, really cool. So, news reporting about ag and writing papers.
Okay. Speaking of ag, ag is the single largest employer globally. As a person involved in ag and as a member of FFA, what does that mean to you?
Kind of what you said. It's the number one employer globally, like you said, and in Georgia as well as across the entire United States. It employs the most amount of people that are working these jobs, and it means a lot to me because, like you said, it's the number one employer. Ag is, and then just kind of seeing that people don't really see the importance of ag. To me, that's kind of a little bit crazy. But just it means a lot to me because I think that obviously people should know where their food comes from, where their clothes, their shelter, and all different things. But just people knowing that they're impacted by ag every single day and everything that they do. You might be working an office job, but you're still impacted by ag in some type of way. Like maybe you're a journalist and you're journaling about something that's not ag, and then you just one day get a paper that journal about ag. I mean, you're going to be impacted by ag in any way, shape, or form every day, whether it's by the food you eat or the clothes you wear. You're always going to be impacted by ag in some way, shape, or form, and it just means a lot because like there's all these hardworking people working to get that food on your plate, making sure that the 1% feeds the 100%.
No, exactly.
And just it means a lot because I think people should know where a lot of their stuff comes from and be appreciative of the things that they get from ag. We host kindergarten and 5th grade ag days here at our school or at our ag center, and we have a ton of different rotations, and we have 8 rotations here. And we have a plant science one that Miss Putman teaches with Anna Grace, and this year it's going to be a few other students because Anna Grace just graduated. We have our ag mech out here with the tractor, and then in here we'll have a representative from the Okefenokee Swamp to talk about wildlife. And then out here in the big arena, we have Smokey the Bear, and they love taking pictures of him and talking to the forestry people, the Forestry Commission. And then out here in the barn, we have small animals, so chickens, pigs, and we started having quail too. And then outside of the barn, we have the large animal. So we have horses out there, sheep and cattle, and they'll just rotate between those, learning about different things. And then we have bees and pollination. So one of our students, Lindsay, she just graduated this year. She's like, bees is her thing.
Yeah.
But she works with bees. She like has a ton of hives. But what's kind of funny is she's allergic to bees. So, excuse me, one day, it was my 9th grade year, and it was the morning of our banquet.
Ooh.
And then she was working with the bees, and then she sent a text in the group chat. She said, "Guys, something happened," and we're like, "Oh Lord, what happened now?" And she sends a picture, and like she got stung right here, and I was like swollen shut.
Ooh.
And she's like, "It should go away." She's like, "I'm putting stuff on it," but that was funny. And we have that out there, and then we this year we added something different. We added like autonomous equipment, so we have like a whole rotation about drones. And then seeing those kids like see a drone, it's just like the coolest thing ever that they see. But definitely what we do with that, just kind of teaching them the importance of it. And the first thing we ask them, where do you think milk comes from? The store. It comes from the store. I'm like, no, but what animals? Like, no, like it comes from.
Yeah.
They think it comes from the store. But just kind of making sure they know where their stuff comes from, like at a young age, I'd say, making sure they understand. And I mean, we do a good job about it. I mean, we're the only state to have elementary ag in the whole country, and our county's lucky to have 2 elementary ag programs. We have them at our middle schools at our elementary schools, along with band and art. They're kind of like an elective.
Yeah.
So they're like on a 3-year contract with each school. So they'll stay at this school for 3 years, and they'll rotate to the other elementary schools that we have. Because we have 7 elementary schools. So they'll rotate between each one, and just making sure that they know where their stuff comes from and the importance of it. But, Yep, I'd say that's what that means to me.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Like, Houston County, as of right now, we don't have ag in the elementary schools, but it's something we're working towards, and it's something we're advocating for as the high school and middle schools. But Perry, we do like a farm day, and so we're big into cattle at Perry. Like, we have a big cattle team, and then we also have a big big pig show team. And so we'll take the like pigs and cows to different elementary schools at different times throughout the year, and then we'll take different games that go along with each rotation, and we'll like teach different things about agriculture. So last year, I taught about animal byproducts to kindergarteners through 5th graders, and it was just so cool to see, because we had a latex glove, and people would not expect that to come from a cow, from the hoof of a cow, but it does. A hoof of a cow is made to use a latex glove, and so like seeing that connection go off between the kids, like in their mind, like crowns, they have something to do with agriculture. String, they have something to do with agriculture. Like, it connects it in a way that their mind understands, and so now they know like ag is so important in it, and it does truly affect everything around you, because it is the backbone of our nation and of our world. So yeah.
And I definitely say those younger students, they love like seeing animals.
Yeah.
Like, they love hands-on stuff. So they're always like, "Can I pet it? Can I pet it?" And I was like, "Well, if y'all pay attention, y'all can." And I mean, they always do. So say they love hands-on activities.
Yeah, they were crazy about the cows and the pigs. All of them were like crowded around the pen, like wanting to pet the pig. And then we walked the cows, and they were like petting them. Yeah, they loved it. So yeah. What is one of your favorite things besides teaching elementary kids about Ware County FFA?
My favorite things, I'll give one from our meetings. So we do monthly meetings or monthly chapter meetings, and we do some in the mornings. We do one in the morning our fall semester and one in the morning in our spring semester for the students at our school that play sports that can't go to those after school meetings. But one of my best things that I'd say about Ware County FFA, we have a meeting in November, and we call it our turkey hunt meeting. And we do a hayride with that.
Oh, wow.
So we all pile up in the back of a trailer on hay bales, and this past year we didn't have hay bales, so we used shaving bags. So we were sitting on shaving bags, and I think there was 30 of us. And then we do a turkey hunt. So like the officers are turkeys. So it's kind of like a game of manhunt if y'all know what that is. So the officers go and hide, and I haven't been found for the past 3 years. So I've always been able to win, and hopefully I can keep that 4-year streak going. But we do that, and then we go out and hide over there in like by the tree lines and like by the practice football field, and they go and find us because we're the turkeys, and it's just like a good like night to have fun, like being with all those people, and then that night we also have we have a low country bowl that night too, so just seeing everybody just hanging out, having fun, doing some other initiatives or activities with them. But I'd say that's my favorite part, and as well as I'd say another thing that's my favorite from Ware County, kind of like all the support that we get from our community. We're kind of half and half. Like we're a very like ag county, but then like we have the city side of it here. But all the support that we have and the knowledge that we have here in Ware County, we're very blessed to have. Like our ag teachers, they know what their professions are and what they know their stuff. And then having those alumni and sponsors, just being able to support us and knowing why we're doing what we're doing. But really love having that support and love that meeting. But yeah, what would you say is your favorite thing about Perry FFA?
Perry FFA, I would honestly say all the different things we do at Perry FFA. So on the outside looking in, Perry FFA, we're dominant in livestock. That's one of our main things. But we hold so much more than that. If there's something that you want to do in FFA, you can do it in FFA. Our Parley Pro team, I was huge into Parley Pro. And the year before, like the class above me, they also wanted to do Parley Pro, but it hadn't been done by one of our advisors yet. But the kids wanted to do it so much that we were able to persuade one of our advisors to do it, and he jumped in and he loved it, and he's helped us so much, and like he's made really good teams out of us. And so our advisors are dedicated to the students and whatever they want to do. Florida culture, we're huge in that. We do have great success in that. Meets judging, area office, state office. Like Perry FFA is so keen on helping the students and finding a path for the students like they want to take, and not shaping them into like what they don't want to be, but leaning into their interests. And then we also have incredible support from not only our advisors, but our alumni, our community, our CTAE, because at Perry, we're huge. We have a huge ag department, but yes, we're huge in sports, and we're huge in theater, and we're huge in many other things. But Perry Ag, we flourish and we grow so much because of the support. And then going off of meetings, we actually have a beginning of the bash, like a beginning of the school year bash, and we do like a slip and slide, like a water slip and slide, like kickball type of deal. So it's like kickball, but we have little inflatable pools.
Oh, you got to slide into the pool as the bases? Yeah.
Yeah, we have like pools as first through third, and then as home, and then you like run on a wet tarp, and it's just so fun. We cook out during that night, and that's probably one of my favorite meetings, and that happens almost every August to kind of get everybody involved in Perry FFA and then set the tone for the year.
Kind of what you said, we do have a back to school bash too. And we used to do water slides, and then this year we decided to change it up. So we got a mechanical bull, and that was like a big like thing. And then there was like people that missed out on it were like, "What? There was a mechanical bull? I didn't know that." And they're like, "Well, I got to be there next year." But kind of what you said, we had a mechanical bull. Everybody had fun, and we used to do a water slide, but I guess we were just trying to do something different this year instead of repeating. But
I might have to bring up a mechanical bull to our advisors during. because we too have like our cult, like we just
Mhm.
do it as a school instead of like with the state.
Mhm.
And so I might have to bring that up at
Yeah.
cult. And then you're currently serving as a Georgia FFA state officer. What are you most excited for about this year serving in that role?
Definitely, I'm excited for everything. Meeting a ton of new members across the state, whether it's through chapter visits or being at a region rally. But definitely, I'm looking forward to all the chapter visits and just seeing like all the planning behind the conferences. Looking like I couldn't name everything that I'm looking forward to,
Yeah.
but just looking forward to the whole year. But I'd say those chapter visits, being able to talk with those members one on one, and just being able to understand them and talking to them about their FFA experience, and just getting to know different people, kind of like we were mentioning before, like knowing the difference between chapters and what are their favorite things in their chapter, why do they join FFA. Maybe I'm talking to a member that's on the fence about
Yeah.
joining FFA, and maybe I could convince them. But definitely looking forward to those chapter visits and conferences.
Yeah.
We started planning conferences these past few weeks, and just being able to see like all the work put to it, and like I want to see how it plays
Yeah.
out. Like how to yeah, we do all this practice and everything, but just I want to see how we facilitate it.
Yeah.
And how we do it. And I think we're going to do great. It's going to be such a great year. I'm definitely looking forward to it, but I really, really love it. Looking forward to those chapter visits and those conferences. But, yep, I'm looking forward. Oh, there's so many things
Yeah,
that
like
we
living
do.
in the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
living in the moment. But just knowing that kind of I can make an impact on other people. But yeah, looking forward to those chapter visits and those conferences, seeing how all the planning we do and how it'll play out.
Yeah. I'm excited for y'all. Like,
Mhm.
y'all are a strong team, and y'all are
Mhm.
going to serve Georgia FFA so well. And so
Mhm.
I'm excited to see how it plays out for y'all, how much y'all enjoy it. But yeah, that's one thing that I love about FFA. Just everybody has something different they can take
Mhm.
away from FFA, and what FFA means to them is something
Mhm.
different for everybody. But it makes an impact on almost every person who's in the
Mhm.
organization. And so just like being able to be around that, that's one of
Mhm.
the great things about Georgia FFA.
Yeah.
And then, kind of closing out, we have two more questions.
Mhm.
The first one is, what does FFA mean to you?
To me, FFA means family and connections. Definitely family, I'd say. You get to meet a ton of new people, whether it's being a delegate and meeting people across the state, and going to national convention with them, going to different conferences, region rallies, even CDEs and LDEs, going and visiting those, and just definitely family. Whether it's just in your chapter officer team or your area officer team, you really get close with those people on your team, and just being able to understand each other and just knowing each other's differences, how each other's mindset works. But definitely family. Like those people are going to be people you rely on forever.
Yeah.
I mean, my area officer team, I still talk to a bunch of them.
Nice.
Like, those are connections that you're going to make forever. And kind of leading into the other point of what FFA means to me, connections, I'd say the hands you shake are very important.
Definitely.
You never know the opportunities you're going to get to have, whether it's a new job offer, whether it's a scholarship or an internship, or just meeting new people. Kind of relating back to what I said, the family. Those hands you shake can mean like the difference of your career. Like maybe yes, I want to go into ag business, but I meet this professor from UGA and they convince me to go into crop and soil science.
Yeah.
Like you don't know what's in store
Mhm.
for you with those hands that you shake. But definitely connection and family. I'll tell you that's what FFA means to me, and also growth.
Growth is huge.
Growth has been a big one. I'd say that we've all grown since we've been in FFA, but like seeing how we've been FFA members since middle school and how we are now going into our senior
Yeah.
year, definitely growth. I started to live by this quote, which I didn't really always agree with to begin with, but my ag teachers always told me you have to fail to learn.
No, I agree
And
with that. Yeah.
To me, I kind of thought like fail. Why do I want to fail?
Fail.
Like I just like I want to
I
win
wanna
the first
win.
time. Like I want to win the first
Yeah.
time. Um, but now like over the years, I've kind of seen what they meant. Kind of like for example, like now like looking back on that, if I'm competing in a competition my first year or a CDE, I would rather get second place than first place that year. Because I wouldn't want to get first place and like not necessarily knowing like not know what I'm doing, but kind of like knowing that I can grow that next year
Yeah,
if I would have
expand on
gotten
it,
second
yeah.
place. Because definitely it's all about growth, I'd say, and just being able to grow, whether it's yourself or seeing other people grow or impacting other people to grow.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'd say it means to me that no is not a definite no. No just means not,
Not
right
now.
now.
Yeah.
It's just it's all in God's plan.
Exactly.
And just it just means not right now. You're always going to have other opportunities. If you get that not right now
That's not,
position said to you, or that not right now word or phrase said to you, you're going to have a ton of different things come across your way. Whether it's just you really wanted to get first place in nursery landscape, but you didn't. It's not right now. You have maybe 3 other years to do it.
exactly.
But just those years can leave you to grow more.
Just
and
redirection.
Yep, you can do 100 better things with that "not right now" statement.
No, yeah.
Whether it was maybe you didn't get first place in nursery landscape, but then you end up getting first place in floriculture.
Yeah.
It's just not right now doesn't mean, or no doesn't mean a definite no. It's just a not right now moment.
Yeah.
So
I would have to agree.
Yep.
I think FFA throughout my 5 years in FFA, almost 6, it's been filled with many ups and downs, but that ups always outweigh the downs, you know?
Yep.
It's a learning process through each year. Each year it's going to have its difficulties, but it's so rewarding because at the end of it, seeing your hard work pay off. And like middle school, conduct of chapter, my 8th grade year, we won conduct of chapters. That was my first time, like winning a state LDE was incredible for me. And so I've been like chasing that, you know, trying to get first and another thing. And I haven't necessarily gotten that, but I'm pushing myself and I want to keep pushing myself. And hopefully this year will bring me some success. I know I'll work hard for it, but you know, starting out in conduct chapter and then seeing where I've grown, like I love Parley Pro now. I've started to work on employment skills. I've done that. I've done veterinary science. I've done area office, been to national convention, been to state convention. And what I thought was always the plan for me, it's always been a little redirected. And even when I achieve it, that achievement takes me places, but it's all in God's plan. And then going back to what you said, it is a huge family. Like meeting people, like meeting you at national convention, I didn't know then that it would bring us here in this moment today. And then we knew each other before then, but national conventions was when we first started to get to know each other really well. And then area office, yes, I've been having served as an area officer for the past 3 years. Those are like some incredible people I've met on the team and outside of the team. This last team was an all-girls team, and that was something special. I love all those girls so big, and they just mean the world to me. And so the connections and the family that FFA brings, but also the passion that you gain not only from yourself, like I want to do this, but you also are wanting to help others and serve others and have an impact on others. So just seeing what you can do for other people and what the organization can do for you as long as you work with such passion and hard work and grit, and seeing how much you can do, it's just incredible to see.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm definitely agreeing with what you said. If middle school me saw me now,
Yeah.
I wouldn't believe it.
No,
Yep.
yeah. Being a shy like
Yeah.
6th grader and then a
Shy
7th
sixth grader.
grader, like I could barely talk and stand
Yeah.
up for myself, and now I can voice my opinions and everything, and it's really good to see.
Yep.
I think our middle school self would be proud of us now.
Yep. I think so too.
Yeah. And then last question. Outside of FFA and outside of agriculture, what do you love to do with your time?
Outside of FFA and ag, it's kind of tough because I mean, like we all kind of
Yeah.
revolve around that. I'd say I love to make like knickknacks, if that makes sense, like little crafts.
Ooh.
I used to be like big in, like me and my sister would like paint stuff, I'd say, but like now, it's kind of relating to FFA, but I do it for a ton of other people I know too. But I would make like livestock ribbons, like prize ribbons, or like banners, and I always make our ag teacher gifts at the end of the year. So last year I made them a livestock ribbon, and it had like their name on it, and it had like their like a symbol of their profession. So like Mr. Chisholm, he had like a wrench on there for ag mech,
Yeah.
and Miss Chisholm had a flower and so on. And then this year I made them livestock banners, kind of like or like the banners you get when you win state,
Yeah.
like the blue ones. I kind of made those. And outside of that, I love making knickknacks. And also, I love listening to music. That's
Oh,
like I know
yes.
that kind of sounds basic, but like listening to a good song with my sister in the car, like jamming
It
out.
pumped you up, yeah.
Yep. And also, I mean, going to church, just with my family, spending time with them, or spending the little time I have
Yeah.
being able with my family. We're always on so busy schedules that we always try to cherish the time
Yeah.
that we have together. With my sister being at college, my dad working all the time, and with me being gone everywhere, just kind of cherishing those moments that we have when we're all together. But also just outside of FFA and Ag 2, I help my mom a lot with her business. So my mom's a baker and a florist.
Ooh.
So I help her every single day, whether it's just like making bouquets or just help her decorating a few cakes and helping her mix stuff up. Just helping her with that every day. Like this morning, we went shopping to get all our stuff for the month that she had planned. But just being able to help her out and spending that quality time with her that I get.
Yeah.
But definitely, I'd say that's who I am outside of FFA, family oriented.
I love that. I would
Yeah.
definitely say, me too, I'm definitely
Mhm.
family oriented. My family, I'm the first to join FFA
Mhm.
and be involved in FFA, but my family, we're all such busy bees. Like
Mhm.
my sister just turned 16, and so, you
Mhm.
know, she's out of the house now. She can drive herself and do all that, and I've been able to drive myself for a while. And so we all have a busy schedule, and so when
Mhm.
we're all together, we love to cherish that time. And then also with friends, like me and my friends, we have completely different interests, and we have some of the similar interests, but a lot of them, like, we have different interests, and so we're doing our own thing. Like my
Mhm.
best friend, she'll be going to ABAC this year,
Mhm.
and so spending this last summer with here at home and just like cherishing that
Mhm.
time, that's something I'm big into too. Also, my relationship with God,
Mhm.
I love pouring into that, going to church, just
Mhm.
talking with God. That's something I center myself around. But I'm also a big reader. Like
Yeah.
that's one thing. Like if
Mhm.
I'm not doing anything and I have any
Mhm.
downtime, I will be reading a book. Like I
Mhm.
finished 3 books back to back
Yeah.
recently, like in the span of 2
Yeah.
weeks. Might be a little unhealthy, but
But-
I love reading, and so yeah, that's what I like to do outside of my time.
Yep, I'm not a big reader, I'd say that. But if there's like something that I'm really interested about, I'll read it. Like the
Yeah.
Hunger Games, I love the
Oh,
Hunger
the
Games.
Hunger Games?
So like I got the new book and I started reading it. I still haven't quite finished it. I'm like a fourth of the way through.
The Ballad of the
Yeah.
Songbird, or the recent one?
The recent one,
Okay.
the Sunrise on the Reaping.
Ooh.
I'm reading that one, and I love watching movies. I'd say, like, I love a good movie, a movie series. I'd say so. Like, I
Mhm.
love like the Hunger Games, like that whole movie series, and like Divergent stuff like
Yeah.
that. I love watching a good movie too. But yep,
Yeah.
not a
And-
big reader, but
See, like I'm a big reader, but
Uh-huh.
I also love me a good movie.
Yeah.
Like I haven't read the first 3 Hunger Games. I haven't read the Hunger Games books, but I love the movies, and
Yeah.
I've seen all the movies. I love the movies.
Mhm.
And then Gilmore Girls is one of my all-time
Mhm.
favorite shows.
Yeah.
Like I love watching those.
Mhm.
But The Summer I Turned Pretty, I've read
Mhm.
all 3 of those books. Like I've read them like 3 years in a row
Mhm.
during the summer, and now I'm watching this
Mhm.
series. And so yeah, yeah.
Yep. Fun.
So those are all my
All right.
questions.
So, kind of started off with a little bit of mine. I know you were mentioning area office earlier. So, could you explain like the leadership roles that you've took through FFA and like kind of what inspired you to run for those leadership roles?
Yeah. So, middle school year, I started out in conduct of chapters. Like, that was my leap into FFA. And so, for those of y'all that don't know what conduct of chapter meetings is, it's basically like a mini Parley Pro.
Mhm.
And essentially, debate. That's debate, non-scripted debate, where you stand up and you debate about an agricultural issue at hand. And so I was a very shy seventh grader, didn't, necessarily want to speak in front of a crowd, but that forced me to get on my shell, and I'm so thankful for that because that grew my public speaking. And then at the end of my eighth grade year, my advisor, Mr. Bennett, he was like, I want you to run for area office. And so I was like, yes, I would run for it. And I remember, he gave me the packet, and I ran out to the car after, and I was like, Mom, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And she, she had no clue what this was about. This is her first daughter in FFA, a new organization for her. But she was always encouraging. Both my parents are a huge support system. And so I ran for junior representative, and I didn't think I'd make it. But when my name was called, I was in shock. And Ramaya Stevens, she was also at our area, the junior rep that year. It was both our first year on that team. And so she was on stage, and I remember just being called up and hugging her instantly. And so that started my role in area, and then I've served as an area officer for the next 2 years. So as a junior representative, reporter, and then secretary. And then I was also Mossy Creek's vice president my 8th grade year. And then leading into Perry, I was an area representative for the school. So I was on the officer team, but I wasn't a constitutional officer, but I did everything an officer would do. I was just at Perry FFA's area representative. And so this year I ran, because I didn't run for area again, I wanted to run for a constitutional office. So I ran and I got vice president. So I'm a co-vice president this year. And so that will be my senior year. And then other leadership positions throughout that. Outside of FFA, I'm huge in our yearbook staff. I love yearbook and just everything because you get to curate a book that represents the whole school. And so I've been in that for the past 2 years as a sophomore and a junior, and I ran for editor-in-chief. And so I was blessed with that opportunity, so I'll be editor-in-chief this year for our yearbook staff. And so just those are some leadership positions I've held throughout my time in FFA and outside of FFA, and I love them. And that's kind of how I got them.
Yep, definitely great. Kind of the same path that you said. Started in middle school. I didn't run for a chapter office until my 8th grade year, and I was secretary. And then coming into 9th grade, I ran for a chapter position here, and 9th graders can only run to be a junior representative. So I was a junior representative that year, and that was the same year I ran for area. And I was deciding, do I run for a junior spot or do I run for a senior spot? Because when you're a 9th grader, you can run for both. So I was or you can run for either or. And I was like, I think I'll run for a senior spot because I think I might have a better chance with 6 positions rather than 2. So I really didn't think I was going to make it when they were calling out names. They called out the first 2 names for junior reps and the first 2 names for the senior positions. I'm like, I'm not going to get it. And then they called my name for area treasurer, and that was just really a cool moment that I had. And then I ended up being the secretary for the next 2 years in my chapter. And then just really kind of that started everything, those leadership positions. But I know we talked about CDEs earlier. So I know you talked about conduct of chapter. But what would you say is your favorite CDE or LDE and why?
See, I've always been an LDE girl, and it would have to be Parley Pro. I've done it all 3 years of high school, and I plan on doing it my senior year. But I just love it for so many different reasons. I like the originality that comes with Parley Pro. You get a topic, and you have 1 minute to digest it, and then you're up and you're debating on it. And it's also fresh, but it's yes, those debates and those points may be fresh in your mind, but you have to know what you're doing in Parley Pro. It takes a huge amount of studying and learning the material, and it just it makes me feel accomplished when I do well, when I leave a good debate on the table, and when I get all my points across, when I get all my required motions done. I just love the whole complexity of that LDE, but also just how original and how fun it is for me, at least, because I love talking. And so that's just one of my favorite LDEs, and I'm blessed to have a good great team members all throughout my 3 years at Perry. The seniors my freshman year the seniors and juniors were some of the most people I've looked up to. I had one friend, her name was Summer Smith, and she was on the team right when I jumped into freshman year, but she was a junior. And so just seeing her excitement for it, and she was kind of like took me under her wing and showed me the ropes, because she too was also on Mr. Bennett's Conduct to Chapter team. And that's another thing, like a lot of our students that do Poly Pro at Perry, they have come from Mossy Creek Conduct team. And so like she just taken me under the wing because she knew what I was used to. She got me used to Perry style, and then just seeing us be accomplished in that. My first year, we were blessed to get second, and then we got third. We got second. My first year we got second, and then my second year we got third, and then last year we didn't make it past preliminary. But to me, like, I was still so proud of our team because it was a fresh team. Like we had new freshmen, we had sophomores. Like it was a young team, but to be out, like it's just a great LDE, and I love like the growth that is involved in Poly Pro, because it's not something you can get right off the bat. It's something you have to work for. But when your hard work pays off, it's so rewarding.
Yep. Definitely say good CD. We've not been a Parley Pro school. We did Parley Pro 1 year. It was my sister's year. I was still in middle school, but she was on the Parley Pro team. And then I think they made a motion, but then like the person that made it strike like their own motion out, I guess. So like the judges like laughed at them, and they were like, I don't know what it was. It was something about an ice cream party something, and then. They ended up getting last because, I mean, they went into it, like, with no clue. I mean, I think they knew they were doing Parley Pro, like, a week before.
Oh, yeah.
So, that was definitely funny when she was explaining that to me. But I'd say I've definitely been, I love me a good CDE, but I love LDEs, too. I've done discussion meet in the past. I've done employment skills for 1 year. And then I've done prepared for the past 3 years, and I've absolutely loved it. And then I also did Creed speaking as well. But I absolutely love prepared. I'd say that was my favorite. That's my favorite competition or LDE. I'd say just being able to prepare a 6 to 8 minute speech on a topic that you get to choose, and a topic that you're passionate about, and talking about it, and then having that judge panel ask you questions about it, and like when they ask you questions that like, you know, like, oh, I know this is like what I knew, like it's just kind of like cool seeing like you're talking about your topic and like being passionate about it. I really love prepared. And last year I got third in area, and I was hoping I would have made it to state, gotten first or second, but then I was like, well, I mean, that's always room to grow. So this year I ended up getting first in area, and like when they called second place, she was the girl that got first last year. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't get it. And then like Miss Schwing ended up calling my name, and I was like, what? That's not true. I couldn't believe it. And I hugged my advisor. It was Miss Putman. But I hugged her, and then it was just a great moment seeing all the hard work I've done with Miss Putman, and like all those days of practicing really paid off. And being at state, that was my first year going to state this year, and I was in the preliminary rooms, and I mean, I thought everything was cool, and everything went all right, and I was like, I think it went good, but I don't think it was good enough to make it to the finals. And then they ended up calling finals results, and I make the final four. And then in the finals room for the speaking events or for the LDEs at state, anybody can go in and sit and watch. So some of my friends were in there watching, and then I was like, well, y'all going to sit in the back row.
Y'all are not messing me up.
Y'all are not messing me up. But then I ended up getting fourth, and I mean, it's not what I wanted, but I mean, like, I made the top four. It was like going from like not like placing at area to then like being the top four in the state. That was like such a really cool moment, and I really wanted to get first place then and there, but it's just seeing that. I mean, I'm proud of getting fourth place, and just seeing like where I grew from, like to not thinking I was going to make it to being those top four. But really think that's my favorite CDE, I'd say.
I know I saw Prepared, I've never done it, but
Mhm.
Prepared has always piqued my interest because we were talking
Mhm.
at state convention, and I was like, yeah, I'll come
Yeah.
watch yours. And then
Mhm.
the times got mixed up, and
Yeah.
I was actually heading in as you were leaving.
Yeah.
But I watched one of the girls do it, and
Mhm.
hers was about mental health and
Yeah.
farmers, and that one was incredible. Like,
Mhm.
it was so good seeing, like, a unique, like, topic, like,
Mhm.
in detail. Like,
Yeah.
they spent so much time researching, so much time preparing for this, and they're so passionate about their topics.
Mhm.
It's just a really cool
Mhm.
LDE. So yeah.
Yep. So, kind of, we were talking about the future a little bit earlier. How do you see FFA shaping your future career or your future plans?
Honestly, I give my future plans and my future career all like, it's all due to FFA. Before I was in FFA, I was big into sports analytics and sports journalism. I thought I would want to go down that path because one thing about me is I just love sports, like any type of sports. But when I got into FFA, I realized I had a passion for this. And not just the FFA organization as a whole, but agriculture and advocating for the need of agriculture. And so I see myself one day going to college and getting an ag communications degree and then going into an ag communications field, whether that be marketing, whether that be journalism, whether that be news reporting, and just kind of advocating for the local farmer, for the local rancher, for American agriculture, but also for FFA. Like, if I have the chance to go back and serve the FFA organization, I'll take it in a heartbeat because I give so much of, like, my passion and what I want to do with my life is because of FFA, and I found FFA. Like, they truly shape you for a career, not just in your topics about learning about agriculture and community, but also the skills they give you.
Yeah.
They teach you how to be a good speaker. They lean into your interests. They teach you what you need to know about a future career, whether that be in showing livestock and then you want to go and you want to be a judge, or as your career, like, or you want to work and you want to own a floral arrangement place or like a floral shop, floriculture. Like, there's a path in FFA for anything you want to do related to ag, and even outside of ag. Like, the skills you learn in FFA, they can be applied to anything you do in a future career. So that's kind of how, like, FFA has shaped my future career.
Yep, definitely. I'd say it shaped my future careers. I mean, I mentioned it earlier with ag ed, how my ag teachers inspired me, but yep, definitely good ways. So this one kind of does, or we already talked about this one, but let's see. What would you say is one of the most, like, funniest or most memorable moments that you've had in FFA? So, like, whether it's been in your chapter or on a trip or something along those lines.
Let's see. There's been a lot. I have to think about this for a second. Probably the bus rides. Like, just, I can't pin it down to a pinpoint bus rides, but the bus rides in general. Like, to state convention, to a competition at Camp John Hope, to, like, national convention. Like, the bus rides are just so fun, and they're, like, filled with these, like, little moments of, like, just pure laughter. And, like, whether that's calming the nerves before a competition or just, like, joking around with your teammates, jamming out to music. Like, there's always, like, it's always so fun, and it just shows you, like, why, like, for me, it always shows me why I'm doing what I do, and that's because of the people around me. And so, like, there's just moments, like, jamming out to songs and then cracking jokes with each other that, like, I just laugh about, and I love those moments. And so throughout the bus rides, like, they have been some of the funniest moments probably in my FFA career.
I definitely say those ag truck rides and bus rides are my most memorable moments. Our ag teachers, they love to hit curves. So our ag teacher, Mr. Hickox, he's gotten into the habit in Macon. He's hit a curb so much. Every time there's one, he says curb or no curb, and then we all go curb, and then he goes over it. But those rides are definitely the most memories that make the most best and funniest memories. Where it's jamming out to music with your friends on the bus or in the ag truck, or just your ag teacher's bad driver. I mean, we always give them a hard time for their driving, but they're not bad drivers. We just give them a hard time.
They get us to the destination.
Yeah, we get to the destination in one piece.
One year we were coming back from state convention, and it was like late at night, and Perry's not far from Macon, maybe about a 45-minute drive. And so we were like, because when we fill a bus, we can fill a bus. Like, there was
Yeah.
like 50 kids on that bus, and we had to stop at the bus barn to switch out a bus, and so like there's like all 50 of us like transferring a bus for like another 10-minute ride back to the school, and like we're all like, like we're all tired.
Yeah.
But like that in itself was funny because like it's just like unpredictable, but
Yeah.
it's really fun. And they get us to where we are safely, so
Yep.
can't complain.
Yep, definitely. I'd say those rides are the best.
The 4-hour stop at Buc-ee's.
Oh yeah, the 4-hour stop at Buc-ee's.
On our way to National Convention last year, we got stuck at, because our bus had a maintenance issue, so we got stuck at Buc-ee's for 4 hours. But honestly, core memory.
Core memory, yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
I mean, yeah, it was fun being stuck there for 3 to 4 hours, and I guess that was bonding time. I'd say
that was really
it was.
bonding. Buc-ee's definitely also got a lot of our money.
Yeah, they did get a lot of our money, more money than we needed to spend.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun memory.
Yeah, that was a really fun memory, and it got like, it wasn't an ideal situation, but it got turned into a good memory. So that's always what it's about.
Yep. But those are the ones that I've had.
Okay. Well, do we want to go into wrap up?
We can. Yep.
Okay. So what would you say to a student who is nervous about joining FFA but really wants to?
So FFA is definitely for everybody. And kind of talk to that student that's on the fence about joining, but it's like, I'm not sure. I'd say just do what your heart desires. Like, know what you want to do. And always trying something new is always great. You never know what you're going to get into in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a spot for everybody in FFA. FFA is for everyone. Whether you come from an ag background or you don't, just making sure that that student knows that this is an opportunity that can impact their life forever.
Yeah.
Whether the people that they meet or the fun activities that you get to do that can help you define a career path. Whether the student might want to go into environmental natural resources, hey, we have a CDE for that. Would you want to do it, or just maybe go to one of the practices to see the things in that CDE? But definitely telling them, just do it. There's no regrets. I'd say joining FFA has been one of the biggest, best things that I've ever done, and just do it. I'd say, Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get into. I mean, you don't have to dive in head first like some people do.
You can take a little leap.
Yep. Like when you're tapping your feet in the water to make feeling around, make sure
See
it's
if
not
too
cold.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. I'd say just do it. You don't know the opportunities that you'd be able to have. I mean, always wanting to start the earliest you can start, the better. I'd say, because that means you have more opportunities to do the different things that you want to across those years, whether in middle school or high school. I know, for instance, in our chapter we had a few seniors, and we were telling them to join in their 9th, 10th grade year, and then they don't, and then they start getting involved the end of 11th grade year, start of their senior year, and then they're like, well, I wish I would have done this before. And then I'm like, well, we've been trying to tell you the whole time. But just doing it, going in, you don't know the things that you can get out of it. FFA is always going to change you for the better.
Yeah.
You're going to come out 10 times better than you were going in.
I agree. I think that's one thing I would tell a student who's nervous. Just go for it. Just take that leap. It gets you out of your comfort zone. FFA, no matter what you do in FFA, it can be geared to anybody. There's the thing about FFA and the FFA organization is it's so unique to a person's individual strengths. So you don't know much about livestock, but you know a lot about plants, or you love to speak. There's LDEs that you can do that highlight your public speaking, or there's the Floriculture CDE do where you can learn about plants and grow your knowledge on plants, and you don't have to be involved in livestock. But it's all, again, intertwined to where when you're so involved with floriculture, you'll start to get livestock, and you will learn about livestock just being in that ag classroom and having members who are involved in livestock and being friends with them and hearing about them. So it's so interconnected, but FFA has something for everybody. It truly is for everybody. People in the organization want what's best for you. The people in the organization, the mentors, they honestly want to see you strive and grow and be the best version of yourself. And that's one thing we pride at Perry. Like, a high number of our kids involved in FFA go into an ag-related career. And so that's because FFA, when people join FFA, they see the importance of agriculture. So if you're nervous about it or if you're unsure, just go to the first meeting, see if it's for you. Because even if it's not for you and it's not something you want to continue, you can always take away something from it.
Yep, I definitely said that.
Yeah, you won't regret it.
Yep, won't regret it. It'll always change it for the better.
No, it will. So yeah. Well, does that conclude?
Yep.
That concludes the first ever episode of the Takeover series.
Takeover series. So,
Yeah.
we glad y'all watched, and we really thank you for watching
Yes,
and
we do.
watching the first episode of the Takeover series with Miss Maggie Bell from Perry FFA.
And with Jose Gomez from Ware County FFA.
Yep. Really enjoyed it. We hope y'all follow us on all of our social media to
Yes.
stay up to date. And we thank you for watching.
Bye, y'all.